Welcome back to Family Spectrum, and thanks so much for joining us today. It's my pleasure to welcome back Robert Kennedy of Kennedy Fitness.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I am fantastic, but a little nervous without my better half here today.
Oh, and your better half is Kristen Kennedy. And she is, you guys are in business together. You guys train together at Kennedy Fitness.
Yep. She's actually out training right now, so I've got to fly solo today.
Well, you're going to be just fine. And Robert, you've been on the show before, and you also are featured monthly in Family Spectrum magazine. You write under the topic of Fit Chat, which you provide really great, useful information to families, not just adults, but on kids and just the whole family, how to stay healthy, etc. So it's the new year. Everyone's talking about New Year's resolutions, starting the year off right. Obviously, the number one resolution
is to lose weight.
Wonderful. So let's start talking about that. With the New Year's Top 10, you have a top 10 tip list for families. And again, we're really talking about families, and we're not specifically going to talk about losing weight, but how to stay healthy.
Right.
And to stay active.
How to make your New Year's resolution turn out a success.
Wonderful. So what is the number 10?
Number 10, starting out at the bottom of the list here, is don't just buy a gym membership. You have to use it and realize that the gym is going to be busy. As a trainer who has worked at a big gym before going solo and doing the in-home stuff, I can tell you that so often we would see the big influx of people coming in on January 1, and most of the time the folks that would leave only weeks later would cite that the gym was so busy that they couldn't find a parking space, that they had to wait on machines, and that turned into the reason or the excuse as to why they didn't follow through with the rest of their resolution in the long term. And yeah, it is going to be busy, but after a few weeks, if you're still sticking in there, you will start to see the crowds kind of come down. Parking spaces will be easier. And don't forget that if you're coming to the gym to walk on a treadmill, don't be afraid to park far out in the lot and then walk into the building.
There you go. I was going to say that because I think there's always an excuse you can find.
Right.
For, you have the best intentions. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to buy that membership. And I was guilty of that about 3 or 4 years ago. I bought a family membership somewhere. We never went once. And, my excuse was it was cold. It was hard to motivate yourself to get out and to walk in the cold, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
so
if you can hang in there till March, the crowds are going to go down, the temperatures are going to go up, and then you can have a more pleasant experience.
So that's just very practical advice. So you actually use your membership. And do you recommend working out, 3 times a week? Or what's a good amount of time to...
Well, it's going to depend on the person's goals. But making it in and picking up some weights 2 to 3 days a week, absolutely. And this is kind of jumping ahead. We can talk about it more in a minute, but doing your cardio even more days than that, but not necessarily really long, intense durations either.
Okay.
Just keeping active on a daily basis.
Okay. So let's get to the next... number 9 on your list.
Number 9, take time to warm up, to stretch, and ease into your exercise routine. It's a new routine. It's a big shock from sitting on the couch eating Hershey's Kisses out of your stocking. You
were at our home on Christmas Day? What?
Oh, no, that was in my home. But no, seriously, so many people will come in with the best of intentions and launch into this new workout, picking up heavy weights and running on the treadmill, and then they can't move for the next 3 or 4 days.
Robert, I'm not going to jump ahead to the number 1. So if you can answer this without, giving away what the number 1 is, how does the average person know did you just, whatever you do, just start off slow?
Start off
and
slow.
And easy?
Yep. Take the time to stretch out, to warm up, walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes before you go do anything else. Just so that you're not jumping up from the office chair and hitting the ground running, because you're going to pull a muscle, you're going to strain something that you really don't want strained, and it's going to turn out to be a casualty of enthusiasm.
And then you're going to be done with your workout for the whole year and wait to put it on next year's list.
Exactly.
All right. What's the next tip? Number 8.
Swapping soda and lattes for water and low-fat milk.
I was just having this conversation with family just yesterday. I think about soda. I mean, you hear time and time again how bad it is for you.
The real sodas are so chock full of sugar and caffeine. It's basically liquid candy. It really is. And energy drinks, for that matter, too. We are personally not big fans of them, because you're just loading your system up on all these artificial stimulants. I mean, if I have a full-strength regular soda, let alone an energy drink, at lunchtime, I'm usually up till 1 or 3 in the morning, unable to sleep. So given my wife, on the other hand, can have a Mountain Dew and go right to sleep.
Oh, wow.
But,
that's rare, I'm sure.
It's still not good for you. And these Choco Mocha Latte, that you can buy for, $100 at whatever
yes,
little
they're
latte
worse
shops.
than like a big chocolate malt.
They can be really high calorie. I mean, you may as well be eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I've seen that you just somehow feel you're drinking something, so therefore it shouldn't have as many calories. But it's like eating a couple pieces of cheesecake or a greasy burger.
Don't get me wrong. There's a strawberry smoothie at a store in town that I would kill for right now. But water is calorie free. You can drink as much of it as you want. You'll actually feel better just from being properly hydrated. And low-fat milk, we don't need to be drinking whole milks, but there's so much benefit from the calcium and from the protein in there that 80 or 100 calories for a small glass.
Yeah, and you really
great.
can't taste the difference. I was at a health fair a couple months ago, and there was somebody, I can't remember who the organization was, but they had a taste test set up because a lot of people just think, yuck, low-fat milk, it doesn't taste good. I can notice a difference, and nobody who was sampling it could tell the difference.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you go immediately from one glass to another, whole to skim, I mean, you're going to be able to tell the difference. But if you just start with the low-fat milk, and take a couple of weeks, you're not going to remember that there's a difference at all.
No, and it's amazing once you give up pop and some of those sugary drinks, how much better water tastes.
Yes.
And the healthy drinks taste.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so refreshing. So we were talking about that too with the family. But number 7 on your top 10 list
is schedule your workouts, and typically earlier is better. If we don't schedule it at all, so many things can pop up and take precedence over the workout. And even if you do schedule it, and you schedule it for, let's say, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., again, things can come up at work. You've got to get it done. If you would have just knocked it out before you went into work, you would have been doing a whole lot better, because you wouldn't have to worry about it the rest of the day.
Good points. And we're going to quickly take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about your final 6 items in your top 10 list. Stay tuned.
My best friend gave me.
Welcome back to Family Spectrum, and thanks so much for joining us. Today in studio, we're talking with Robert Kennedy, owner of Kennedy Fitness, and he has a New Year's top 10 tip list for everyone listening whose goal is to get into better shape this year. So we've already gone through the first 4. We're kind of working backwards, 10 through 7. So what's number 6 on the list, Robert?
Counting calories. Most folks will grossly underestimate how many calories they're consuming if we just do it in our heads, myself as well. But if you write it down, you will be much more in tune with what you're actually eating. This is important just because 1 pound of fat is equivalent to 3,500 calories. So if you're able to actually take 500 calories out of your daily intake for 7 days in a row, you will lose 1 pound of fat that week.
Dr. Kashik will be very happy because she was talking about that exact same thing Monday's show, and that's exactly what her advice was as well. So number 5 on your list.
Don't just weigh in. Take measurements. The scale is dumb. The scale doesn't know the difference between water, muscle, or fat. Okay? So if we have if we rewind the clock 30 years and we have a young 20-something-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger walk in here right now and step on the scale, he weighs 245 pounds. Fine. But if we have Joe Blow from down the street come in and step on the scale, maybe 5 foot 6 inches tall, great big belly, weighs in at 245 pounds, obviously there's a difference there, but the scale doesn't know it. So if you start taking actual circumference measurements, put a tape measure around your waist. If your waist drops 2.5 inches while your scale doesn't move, that means that you've lost fat and built muscle. And that's a really, really healthy thing to do.
And that is such a great point because I do think so many people put so much weight
Yes.
into their weight on the scale. So just as simple as just getting your tape measure out. You don't have to measure like your body fat or get technical like that.
That is always a good thing, but how many people are going to have a set of skin fold calipers or a bioelectrical impedance machine in their home?
Exactly. But we'll get to those people who do have that in their home in a couple more tips. So tip number 4.
Eat fresh. Avoid wrappers and boxes. Shopping at your local farmer's market. Okay, you're going to get fresh, real foods. Everybody's talking about organic. There you go. I mean, it just came out of the ground 30 minutes from your home versus something that has been manufactured in a factory, stuffed into a cellophane bag, into a cardboard box, shipped 3,000 miles on a truck, put on your grocer's shelf, and still carries another 9-month expiration date. That's not ideal. The only thing you should ever unwrap is a banana.
Oh, I like that. Very good.
There you go.
It's an easy thing to remember. I'm glad I left my gift to you at home today because it wasn't a box and there were many things wrapped in there. And then I thought, Beth's like, this probably isn't the best recipient of this gift. I'll have to try harder. Sorry, Robert.
That's okay. That's okay.
Number 3 on your list.
Cardio for at least 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. And this is what we were talking about before the break with that frequency, even if it's not massively intense. 30 minutes is the length of a normal sitcom. So if you can just watch your normal favorite TV show in the evening from your elliptical or from your treadmill instead of from your couch over the course of a year, that is going to burn so many calories. I mean, you will lose multiple pounds in a year just by doing that. You're not losing any of your TV time, but you are losing weight.
Is there any possibility of people getting that cardio workout that you know they need or that you recommend without having the expensive equipment in their house or without going to the gym? I mean, obviously walking around the neighborhood.
Exactly. I mean, right now we're under 3 feet of snow. It's kind of hard to go outside and walk, but you can go to the mall and walk. You can go to a gym and walk there. Certainly once the weather turns nicer. Of course, we love to go to Zorinsky Lake, Chalco Hills, all those types of places are around town. Omaha has a wonderful parks and recreation system available.
Yes, so you don't always have to spend money.
Right.
Don't let that be an excuse this year.
Exactly.
Because you can get free cardio.
Yeah, and frankly, it's more scenic outside anyway.
Exactly. Number 2.
Number 2 is eat 4 meals, no exceptions. Breakfast, lunch, an afternoon snack, and supper. We really do encourage the afternoon snack so that you're not coming into supper just starving and ready to heap your plate full of food, because at that point you're going to bed in just a few hours, and do you really need all that potential energy when it's not going to be expended?
Yeah, and we talked about that on Monday's show as well, and just the fact that when you eat smaller meals that you do keep satisfied throughout the day.
Exactly.
You keep your energy level up so the likelihood of binging and gorging decreases. Now, do you recommend like how late you eat supper. This is, again, another discussion I was having with somebody about. I cannot believe growing up, 5 o'clock was our dinner time.
Right.
I kind of stand by that as a mom, probably because it's inbred in me. But I have so many friends, they eat dinner typically at 8 o'clock. And I always thought eating after 7 was not so good.
And that kind of comes down to, again, consuming all that food, which is potential energy. That's what a calorie is energy. And then going right to sleep and not expending any. It is a good idea to eat a little bit earlier in the evening, but if you have a calorie deficit, if you've been watching what you're eating all day and you still make a good choice in the evening, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Most nights, my wife and I don't get to eat supper until about 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night because we are out training folks until 8 o'clock, and then we've got to come home and actually get it ready. So we're still able to maintain a healthy weight just because we're exercising 6 days a week, and the choices that we make are usually pretty good, other than my Hershey's Kisses out of my stocking.
Well, that's just a stocking. It's just a once-a-year thing, right? You don't have a stocking hanging there year-round, right?
No.
Okay. Now, I wish I had a drum roll. Nick, I don't know. Maybe is there a drum roll you can do on the... because we are down to the number one on the top 10 list.
Hire a personal trainer.
Ooh,
This is
you
a little
go.
bit of a self-serving tip, admittedly. But seriously, if your car breaks down, do you really break out the Craftsman wrenches and try and fix it in your own garage today, or do we take it to the mechanic? Why do we do that? Because he knows what he's doing. This is what he does for a living. He can fix things without breaking two others in the process. If your child falls ill or gets injured, if they break their arm or whatever it is, you don't try and fix them at home. You take them to a doctor. That's what they do for a living. Personal trainers, whether it's us or someone else, work with people trying to lose weight, to build muscle, to maintain their physical condition or improve it, whatever the goal is. That's all they do. 8 hours a day or more, day in and day out, 365 days a year. They know what they're doing, and they can help you get to your goals without running into any of these roadblocks of overtraining, of suffering an injury, even if it's just providing that accountability of I have an appointment and someone is going to know if I skip out tonight.
Somebody to help keep you accountable. Now, Robert, can I ask you, somebody who might be interested in kind of getting on the road to better health and maybe interested in contacting you for personal training. Training doesn't have to be forever, right? I mean, it could just be something where you're just helping to get the person on the right road. I mean, it can be as long as you want, not necessarily something you have to do forever.
Exactly. Yes. Even if you just need to be pointed in the right direction, learning the basics. We do find that the longer someone is with us, the better their chances of keeping the weight off are. But we certainly are able to teach someone a lot in a shorter period of time if that's the case.
Okay, and where do you train? You do train in people's homes, right?
Yes, we come to you. Additionally, we have a gym out in Elkhorn called Common Ground that we do quite a bit of work.
Great. Do you have any specials or anything for the new year, like free assessments?
Actually do. And in fact, we have a free seminar that we will be giving at Common Ground this next Saturday here. What would that be, the 8th or the 9th?
Okay, so just this weekend. This weekend,
this
just
coming
2 days.
Saturday
Okay.
at 7:30, 9, 10:30, and 12. This is a free seminar. It lasts about 45 minutes. We take your questions. It's very informative and pretty funny too.
What? Oh, funny.
Yep, it is free, and we would love to have everyone come on out. And even if they don't hire us for help in the future, we can certainly give some folks some real quality tips.
Wonderful. And we will post that also on our community calendar. So visit FamilySpectrum.com. You can see that on our calendar. Do you have a website, Robert?
We do. It is KennedyFitness.net.
And can they find that seminar info on your website?
The seminar info is actually not on the website. If they call us or call Common Ground, We can tell them more about it. The title of the seminar is Weight Management Made Simple, Separating Fact from Fiction.
Wonderful. Sounds very informative. Thanks so much for sharing your top 10 tip list with us, and Happy New Year. Also, thank you to today's show sponsor, Charles Dorwart, estate planning attorney. Give Charles a call today for a free consultation and to make sure that your children and family are protected. Charles's phone number is 558-1404. Remember to visit us anytime at our website, FamilySpectrum.com. Join us here again tomorrow, noon to 12:30, as we welcome Chris Stapp of the VNA. Until then, live, love, grow.